Good afternoon to members of the Bermuda public and to the Bermuda media. I would like to take this opportunity to announce my candidacy for the presidency of CONCACAF. In a letter that I sent just a few moments ago to the presidents of the CONCACAF countries, I stated the following. My dear presidents, together we have served in CONCACAF over many years, some longer than others, as we have worked hard in our own countries and regionally for the good of the game. We've shared in the joy and passion of our football, but more recently, we've unfortunately also had to endure the events that have shaken the very foundations of our beloved CONCACAF. However, we will very soon have a unique opportunity to chart a brand new course for our confederation and the continued development of the beautiful game in our individual territories and the region as a whole. While we must learn the lessons from our past, we cannot dwell on it as we chart a course for the future based on transparent principled governance, real accountability, and financial probity. Recent events suggest that achieving this outcome requires firm, decisive, and principled leadership. Accordingly, and after much encouragement from many of my colleagues in CONCACAF, over the past several months, it is my distinct pleasure to offer myself as a candidate in the upcoming CONCACAF election for the position of president. I said to my dear presidents, despite the hurt we naturally feel based on the recent past, we must continue to remind ourselves that CONCACAF was once and still remains a great organization with the best ideals. We speak different languages, hail from different geographical regions like the CFU, UNCAF, and NAFU. Some of us are from small islands, while others are from countries with huge populations. However, whether we are on the field or in the meeting rooms, none of those things should divide us. On the contrary, this diversity is precisely what has always made us, the CONCACAF family, one of the best confederations in FIFA. I intend to serve you as president, along with an effective executive council and a passionate secretariat staff, along with our guiding principle being a commitment to governance, transparency in all of our dealings, and grounded in plain, old hard work. Together on this basis, we will all again stand tall and proud amongst our FIFA football family, our corporate stakeholders, governments, and football fans across the world. Together, we will fearlessly lead a reform process in our organization that will be a model for other FIFA confederations, specifically, and sporting organizations generally. I believe that I'm uniquely qualified to lead on this important journey because of my solid background in football administration as president of my own beloved Bermuda Football Association, as a former member of the FIFA Disciplinary Committee, and as the present chairman of the FIFA Appeals Committee since 2007. As a member of both the FIFA and CONCACAF appeals committees, I've had to deliberate on several complex appeals from throughout the region and all over the world. This has provided me with an invaluable perspective on the critical issues that need to be addressed in order to improve our governance and administrative processes. As a former senior military officer of the Royal Bermuda Regiment Reserves, trained in various countries, including at the Royal Military Academy Sandhurst in England, I believe I possess the requisite discipline and sense of duty required to execute any reform process without fear or favor. As a former senator, attorney general, and minister of justice of Bermuda, having been called to the English and Bermuda bar some 20 years ago, I believe I possess the training and legal experience required to ensure that any result of our necessary reform process properly reflects our collective will and is comprehensively manifested in our written rules and statutes. I told my colleague presidents that I look forward to meeting them when I would seek their support for my candidacy. I intend to personally seek their mandate to realize the ambition that I've outlined above so that corporate sponsors will compete to partner with us. The men's and women's games will continue to grow from strength to strength, and our fans will continue to enjoy the championship quality of the spectacle produced by our affiliates both on and off the field. Most importantly, I look forward simply to serving each of the presidents and the member associations in the development of the lives of young people through football at every level in your country and throughout the region. That is the end of my press statement. I'll welcome any questions.
Was it at the last meeting last weekend where it kind of solidified your decision to run for CONCACAF president with speaking of affiliate members?
Yes, I have been asked over the last few months if I was interested in running by other CONCACAF presidents and members. And I've thought about that. I've given serious thought to it. And in the last meeting in Antigua, I was approached by various people, various presidents and colleagues to offer myself. And I have decided that I will offer myself.
What does that do for you running? What does that do for Bermuda football?
Bermuda football, I've had the pleasure of being the president on 2 stints for that. We have a very good executive with a number of members here. I intend to continue in my role as is. My term as the president of the Bermuda Football Association ends normally after 4 years, this September coming.
With the state of FIFA and CONCACAF being a member, where do you see your strength in trying to help not only the region, but globally football clear out the kind of dungeons in which it's portrayed now?
Well, I think that CONCACAF, as one of the confederations of FIFA, is a great organization. It's always been a great organization. We have a number of member countries, as I said in my statement, that are small islands, big nations, small populations, huge populations. We can go from a country as small as Bermuda to a country as large as Mexico or the United States. And I think that with our recent events, particularly with the Department of Justice and the arrest that is all very public in respect of the last 3 presidents that we have, I think that I can bring some skills and management and leadership to unify our body called CONCACAF and get us back focused on football and the development of young people. I know a lot of the CONCACAF presidents, if not all of them. Some of them have been elected literally within the last few months. For instance, Trinidad and Tobago. I look forward to reaching out to those new members, along with the in-depth knowledge that I have of all the other people that are involved in CONCACAF. And I think I can be a unifying force to bring people together, to bring our members together, whether they're from the CFU region or UNCAF, which is Central American, or NEFU, which is the North America Football Union, so that we're all united in one goal so that we can get CONCACAF back on track. I look forward to that challenge.
There's always a lot of talk around the Caribbean amongst footballers. How information circulating, we see the strengths and the weaknesses of it. If elected, how do you plan to make sure that information is circulated timely, such as competitions? We're always finding out the last minute when competitions, the dates and all that. How do you plan to, if elected, how do you plan to address that particular issue?
Well, I think we'll have to work very closely with the CONCACAF staff, who I know quite a few of the CONCACAF staff as well. I've always found them to be efficient and professional. I don't think that can go any direction, but to become more excellent than what they are. As far as communication is concerned, these days, as you know, with these fancy small machines that you have cameras, and apparently you're telling me you're beaming live, I think that all the technology exists for us to have proper and timely communication.
With what the recent president of CONCACAF off in the United States right now in front of courts and all that, putting your name out there, do you think it kind of And being your background, former AG, lawyer, do you think that kind of solidifies your place amongst, and given the fact that people will look more respectable to the position if you were to do it?
Well, I understand that there are other people who are candidates and they have either declared or will declare, and they are good candidates as well. And so I have to have respect for them. This is no shoe-in. I believe that this is going to require, my campaign will require some work. I've got to meet and talk to all of the presidents of the associations. I look forward to doing that.
When will the CONCACAF hold their elections? Is that when
Right.
you're in Missouri?
The timetable will be that CONCACAF is going to have an extraordinary Congress on the 25th of February, whereby we will be reviewing the current statutes with a view of reforming them. So there are going to be changes made to the statutes. After that, and after such statutes have been passed, then I understand the elections will be held in May of this year. So that is the timeline. Reform process first starting on February the 25th. That's the day before the FIFA elections on the 26th. And on the 26th of February, there will be some reform measures to the FIFA statutes as well. And then there will be the FIFA election on the 26th of February. And then there will be a period of time for us to get to May. And during all that time, have the opportunity to meet or to speak with my colleague presidents.
Can you just get a bit into when you're discussing with the other members, what sort of platform you're running on, and what sort of ideas you're trying to bring to CONCACAF?
Okay. Well, I think, as you will have seen, CONCACAF has had some recent tragic events. We are in the process of reform right now. There is a reform committee that is addressing the statutes. We will be given those measures soon. I look forward to getting right down into the detail of what the reforms are. So the first commitment has got to be to reform. The next commitment has got to be to governance on an ongoing basis. So at CONCACAF, which is what I think the reforms will support, we need to have all the systems in place to ensure that what we have seen in the past is not going to happen again in the future. So there should be, and I am committed to having a series of checks and balances along the way so that we do have good governance, that we have accountability, that we have transparency. Now, getting past those two issues of reform and governance, we then look at development. We've got to get back to the actual development of football. And so, therefore, I'd be committed to ensuring that we can put on things like coaching education, referee development, and other programs that are designed specifically to what we're all here for, which is football. You will note that CONCACAF countries, we do advance to the World Cup finals in every competition at every level. And so sometimes we see it's big countries in CONCACAF, sometimes it's the smaller countries. And so what I would like for us to do is to have programs to ensure that the smaller countries get lifted up so that they are regular competitors with our larger CONCACAF, our larger countries in CONCACAF, so that we can qualify to World Cups as well, as finals as well. Now that is the football development. We also have membership, member association development. So that is, for instance, our office here in Bermuda, our office in every country member association. So we need to have the development of the staff because every member association has a secretariat that supports the football going on in its country. So for instance, there are things like the software platforms. You will be familiar with what we've done here in Bermuda as a small country. We have a web-based player registration system. We have a web-based league management system, plus an informative website and an app. And if you look around some of the other countries, our size or bigger, in CONCACAF, you realize that they don't have that. Some countries have paper registration, and so a lot of moving around in bigger countries. And so I see that we can have the development within the office supporting the infrastructure of football as a key component, helping every country. Also, you'll realize that football involves marketing and involves fundraising. For the bigger countries, it's probably not a problem to have a particular international match fill the stadium. For smaller countries, we need to be able to be a bit more creative in how we monetize our assets and commercialize our football. And so I look forward to us having that support. I think a key person in every member association would be a person that's responsible for instance, director of fundraising or marketing and social media, those kinds of things that allow our story to be told. Because we have a saying in FIFA and throughout football that football is a story that deserves to be told. So we need to be able to tell it. And the way that we have all the millennials and the younger people and the way that people are communicating now, social media is the platform to go. So I think that, as Earl mentioned earlier about communication, as far as getting our story out, we need to be on all of the current social media platforms. And every organization should have an ability to do that. When we look at development of, when we look at the development of goal projects, you're standing here in the Clyde Best Center of Excellence in Bermuda. And this is the result of the FIFA goal projects. Goal 1 and 2 for us was the development of the field that is behind you and the synthetic surface and the high quality lights. Goal 3 and 4 was the construction of the building that we're in, which is our secretariat on the upper level, and soon to be finished changing areas and technical parts on the lower level. So I believe that CONCACAF can also assist with goal development in some way with technical assistance or other programs, so that the FIFA programs and the CONCACAF programs are integrated, so that an association can achieve its long-term aims and its master plan as far as facilities are concerned. So those are a few of the examples about what my mandate would be, and I look forward to working with a very good CONCACAF executive and a very good CONCACAF secretariat staff who do an excellent job in all the circumstances.